Hey there, fellow exiles. I'm slightly frustrated because this is my fourth time recording this video now. I forgot to press the record button the first two times, and then the third time I managed to somehow record no screens. So yeah, here we go. This is the fourth take, so I'm just gonna kind of blast through everything. Quick disclaimer at the start of the video. I can't really test anything, so this is just me explaining my League starter and what I'll be doing, and I'm going to show you some really bad gameplay with a fifth of my damage probably on League start because of all the changes, and I'm just kind of going to send it blind is the idea for my League start. I'll leave the PoBs down in the description in case you trust me enough to actually follow my build, even though all of this is blind, so I definitely don't think you should. But yeah, I'm going to leave everything down in the description for anyone who wants to follow, and you can stop by stream and I'll probably be happy to help if you guys have any issues with the build or whatever. But yeah, this entire video is basically me explaining what I'm going to be doing on League start, which will be LS Berserker, and I'll kind of go through everything. I managed to throw together like a shit version of the build, which is like some reds and life on most gear, like a really badly rolled darkness and throne, and like a very basic weapon, mostly so that you could just see kind of how the build looks. Now this is again probably somewhere around like a fifth of the damage that I'll have on League start, but this is kind of like an estimate of like a level 62 Berserker with, again, way less damage than I should have. I believe according to PoB I had somewhere around like 200k DPS or something, and it still thinks that I have the new rage system, so it's probably closer to like 150k DPS for this gear. And yeah, this version is not that good, but at least you can see kind of what the skill looks like and kind of get an idea of how the speed looks even at this level, even if I don't have all the damage that I should. And yeah, it's pretty cozy. Again, this will have way more damage, which I'm kind of excited for because this already looks kind of okay. And yeah, I'm really excited to actually personally be playing again, because I have played Lightning Strike across like 8 different ascendancies at this point because I really like the skill. I think probably the worst ascendancy I ever tried it on was Inquisitor. Don't really ask why I tried it on Inquisitor. I just thought it would be interesting. And yeah, I'm just pretty hyped about the opportunity. Oh, shotgun. I'm just really excited about the opportunity of being able to try this build again, and kind of you know, go in there and play LS for the first time in a very, well, not a very long time, but it's been a few leagues, right? And I'm just kind of excited to go back. I don't think I need to clear more of the map, but I'm just gonna go through nonetheless, just for the dedication of it. Why not? As you can see, it's pretty damn comfortable, even on this bare bones version. So anyway, again, that's basically what the skill looks like. I have like very low level gems and everything, and again like level 62, so you'd probably have way more. I just like testing with like way less than I should have, because I don't know, okay, sometimes things go wrong on League start and you just don't have any of the stuff you want. So I've figured if this can at least do white maps on garbage gear, at least you can maybe make some currency so that you can like maybe an heist or something, so you can get the build into a better state. And again, 5 link as well. So yeah, there's like a fifth of the damage you should have. I'm gonna head over the PoBs so you guys can kind of get like a good idea of where we're gonna be at. So hop over to PoB. So first I would like to start by talking about the yellow maps version of LS. So there's gonna be four loadouts in this PoB, which is be yellow maps, early, mid, late, and I'll kind of describe what level of progression I think you should be at what stage of the PoB, right? So this initial version of this is basically where I think you should be in yellow maps. There's not much here. You are on a 6 link. Now you can be on a 5 link if you want, but I think 6 link is ideal. That I really think you should try and get a 6 link before yellow maps. And honestly, this gear is very bare bones. It is arguably worse than the gear I have in game right now. It's just that in game I don't have any of the buffs that I'm gonna have next patch. Like, this weapon is worse than the one I have in game. And like, yeah, it's just a bunch of the buffs just come together to make this way better. And to be honest, with 1 mil DPS you could probably get to like early reds and be cruising and very comfortable. And that's kind of the idea behind this particular setup. This is where you kind of want to be when you're in yellow maps, right? This is the kind of gear you're going for. Again, very bare bones. It's just life res. There's no implicits, nothing. If we move on to the early version, this is where I expect to be, maybe a little bit after killing Exarch and Eater, just because I'm using Eldritch currency for like pierce and additional strikes. Now if you don't have this, you will probably unspec some block nodes and you will still be an additional projectile and pierce up here. Of course, again, if you can't really get this, it's not a very big deal. You probably lose like a third of your damage, but 3 million is a very respectable damage number for Quest Exarch and Quest Eater. The nice thing about this is you get way tankier because of the amount of block that you'll have. Eventually, once you do manage to afford these gloves, this PoB setup should be able to carry you through most of the stuff that you have to do. Like your basic invites, might not be able to do the feared, but you should be able to do stuff like the formed and the twisted, etc., as long as like you're confident with the build. And yeah, this gear is still relatively bare bones. Added like a tier 7 flat fire damage roll here, and yeah, for the most part the only difference here is it's pretty much the same gear, but added Eldritch implicits everywhere, because I feel like that might be a little more realistic to achieve. And I have a slightly higher rolled Darkness Enthroned with slightly better jewels. You don't need these exact mods. Please don't go for these exact mods. Just go for any sort of flat damage to sword attacks, any relative flat damage. Increased attack speed is fine, increased crit chance is fine, crit multi is fine. You can get like any combination of mods here. Just get like 3 decent mods. Please don't go for this specific jewel, because otherwise they're gonna like get really expensive, and I don't want people to like start going for the same stuff. This is just like an example of like a relatively average mid jewel. And then for the tree, I've just put in life and increased damage. Now crit multi is obviously better, but again, these are supposed to be really basic, really bare bones jewels and kind of like weaker. But yeah, this is where I expect you to be probably after you kill Exarch and Eater, just a bare bones kind of functioning variant of the build. If we head over to the mid game, this is probably I expect you to be once you want to complete your Atlas. So you've probably farmed for a few hours after killing your Exarch and Eater. You've gotten a little bit of gear, and this is probably where you're at. So the main difference here is that we no longer have a helmet because we're going Dance with Death. And Dance with Death makes your crit chance and your damage with crit strikes lucky. As you can see here, it's a very big damage multiplier, so you want to get this online as fast as possible. Now, the problem with this is it also makes enemies damage against you lucky when they deal a crit strike to you. So to mitigate this as much as possible, we take reduced extra crit damage from critical strikes. So you can get that with Reforged Crit on a shield, because it is the only crit mod that can roll on a shield, and you can also get that on a body armor if you use Essences of Horror. So on this setup, again, pretty bare bones gear. It's a lot of just life and res. There's not a lot of damage modifiers. The only one is you get global crit multi here, but other than that, again, not a lot of damage modifiers. There's some accuracy like spread out over a few items, but other than that, again, very bare bones. The weapon is quite a bit better. Now I put this weapon in because I expect that we'll have at least okay access to recombinators. So this is double tier 3 flat with tier 3 attack speed and a shrieking essence. That being said, if we don't have access to all of this flat, as you can see here, even if I take away 1 flat damage roll, it's only 12% less damage. You'll still be above 10 million DPS, so you'll still be fine. And then the last change to this version of the PoB is we introduced cluster jewels, because cluster jewels are very strong. They give us nice amount of chance to block, and I have added crit multi onto each of these jewels. They're not quite double crit multi life jewels yet, but they're crit multi life and then 1 extra damage, useful damage mod, either attack speed, increased damage. Again, variable rolls. You have a lot of options. Also, the crit multi is a mid roll on the worst version of crit multi. You can also get like crit multi with swords, which rolls up to like 18%, which is way better than this mod. So I'm just kind of giving you guys like an average sort of okay jewel for what I think this level of investment would be. Finally, late version, this is probably what I would strive for kind of getting once you're set up, once you've finished your atlas and you're just farming for maybe a couple of days and you make like a decent amount of currency. I'd probably go for this version. And this version is basically just everything but better, right? You have better res rolls on your items, so you open up space for stuff like PDR on your body armor and your shield. You open up space for like other mods like chance to avoid being shocked, so that you can fit in a storm shroud, get like fully ailment immune. You can fit in attack speed on your gloves. You elevate the pierce, you elevate the additional strikes. You can fit in like a yoke of suffering, and we can do that by taking this chance to poison on hit. And basically bunch of like small additions and small changes that you will enhance with the build just to get to a more fully rounded higher damage version of the build. And yeah, this is essentially where I'd probably plan on stopping with this and moving on to my second build. If you guys want to continue with this build, of course you can. There's lots of options. You can go forbidden jewels, right? You can get like certain uniques. Of course you can get mage blood, which will be a huge upgrade for the build, because you open up so many suffixes with how much res you can get off that belt. Like you can go impossible escapes and etc. Like there's lots and lots of options for this build, which you can kind of take this build to the moon with. I'm just not planning on going that far with it, so I've stopped here with my PoB. But again, you guys can probably reach out to me on stream or whatever, be like, hey, what should I go for next, if you ever reach the stage and you're just a little bit lost. Now, one question I do want to answer is how lightning strike double hits. I think it's pretty important now that I've like talked about like the levels of progression of the PoB. So the way lightning strike works is it sort of strikes in, so you as a main damage dealer will strike the ground and fire projectiles, but if you have ancestral call, or like we have on gloves, target an additional nearby enemy with non-ball strike skills. Of course you could also get that here with the mastery. Basically what it'll do is it'll summon like this little red ancestral dude who will copy your attack, and he'll like strike another enemy. So if you stand at just the right spot or just the right distance away with lightning strike, you will hit with your projectiles, and then you will still summon the additional guy and he will still strike the enemy with his additional strike. So you end up getting 2 hits, and that's basically how lightning strike does this much damage. Like as you can see, I have 1 melee hit and 1 projectile hit, and you kind of get way more damage. And then of course returning projectiles is 38% more damage, because the projectiles from both these attacks can actually come back and then hit on the way back. So it actually makes a pretty sizable difference, and it's really comfortable to play. The last thing that I do want to talk about is also the ascendancy choice. Now, I've gotten this question on stream so many times, because I've been bother building planning on stream for the past like half a week for this build, and I swear I get this question every day, which is why Berserker, right? Why are you playing Berserker? So many people are going Warden, everyone's talking up Warden, everyone's talking up Slayer, Duna's talking up Deadeye. Like why Berserker? Nobody's talking about Berserker. And honestly, Warden probably has more damage, Slayer probably has a higher ceiling, Deadeye definitely has better clear, but the advantage that Berserker has is speed. I highly value speed. If you've watched any of my like previous builds, if you look at stuff like even my impending doom starter, or if you look at stuff like my cyclone builds or my poison cost on crit, most of them revolve around going very fast, because I feel like going fast is probably the best way you can make currency. Now that being said, I don't think you should be a glass cannon who's going fast, but I definitely think you should still be going fast, because that is a way to be the most efficient. And I think Berserker is just fast, and I enjoy Berserker because out of all the ascendancies that I played for LS, the one that I had the most fun on is Berserker, and I kind of want to get back to that and touch base on it, and I want to have fun pretty much. And a lot of people doing like Warden and a lot of people doing Deadeye and Slayer, it's just not particularly interesting to me, because I mean, like I said, other people are doing it and I kind of want to do something different. So hence Berserker. And I think Berserker is a pretty cool ascendancy, and I think it would be a great avenue for me to explore the new rage changes. And as you can see here, even on Berserker, like my whirling blades is 5 attacks per second. This is gonna feel really good. You could pretty much like press the button, you'll teleport across the screen in like a second. Yeah. So that's the build. That's everything pretty much. I hope you guys enjoy the video. And yeah, I wish you guys a very, very, very good league start. If you have any questions, either leave a comment down below. I try to read all of them, or hop by on stream over at twitch.tv/void241 and let's see if I can help you out. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and consider subscribing if you like my content, or if you want to see more of my content, because yeah, I am just starting out, and every subscription, like, it helps a lot, and I appreciate you guys a bunch. So thank you. I'll see you guys post league start, I suppose. One small edit that I would like to add right at the tail end of this video is that I will also be leaving a leveling PoB down in the description. Now, this will not be tested, but I have been getting a lot of questions about leveling with this build as well, so I'm just gonna leave what I plan on leveling with down below. Again, though, I have not tested it, so yeah, I just proceed with caution. All right, I love you guys. Bye bye.